So, what is love? Usually, when we are talking about love, we do not mean love in its purest form. We are talking about a state of the mind where it wants something, where it needs something for its own satisfaction. And of course, that is not love, because love is beyond any objectification. And what we mean by love usually is the aspect of the ego which wants something in order to feel better. And this is egoistic or neurotic love. And that is this kind of love we are usually using in what we call relationships or friendships. But it is completely limited, and it's not free, and it is not connected with the base of what you are. So it is an illusion, and therefore not worth being lived. So the real enemy of love is separation. Love means that you take everything as part of yourself, or in other words, that you become one with everything, that you do not have boundaries, that you are one with it, which is kind of a contradiction in itself, but you do not feel anymore that you become one with someone, because you are one. You are one with it. And this state is what you are. This state is. And we can also say whenever we objectify, meaning whenever there's a separation between the tree and myself, whenever I perceive someone as separated from me, whenever I feel or I see a threat, I'm no longer in the space of love. So objectification is what the ego always does. For example, when it compares, or when it tries to become better than someone. When it compares, or when it describes, when it starts to notify, when it tries to analyze. So everything is kind of an enemy of the heart, because the heart is in the space of feeling connection. It's the opposite of separation, and that is the opposite of objectification. So when everything is just one, it becomes only one subject, no object. That is the moment when the heart opens, and there is no other anymore, because you only be in the space of one. When we are talking about someone who has an integrated personality, we are talking about this awareness of being the space, and in this awareness, kind of a flavor, a taste of the I is appearing. But something which isn't fixed. It is still moving. It has boundaries for sure, because it needs to navigate and orientate in this space, time, reality. But at the same time, it is no longer perceiving this fixed identity boundaries, whether it comes from trauma, like a trauma identity, whether it comes from a person who's only identifying with good stuff, or a victim identity. No matter what it is no longer in this fixed state, because it has experienced itself as this large, wide, open space, and it is now capable to sense itself as a person which has a structure. It also carries this body, and it is also manifesting itself in this body, but it knows the truth of the true nature it is. So it is now experiencing it as the everything and the I, but it's no longer something which is kind of a decision or anything. It belongs together, like the flower knows that it is part of the whole tree, and so forth. So sometimes your true identity can only really integrate if you have tasted this large, wide space of what you truly are. And then the clear shape is appearing as that what you truly are as a person. Because you have your own flavor, you have your own personality, you have your likes and dislikes and everything what belongs to the personality, and there's nothing wrong with it. But you no longer have this fixed idea of an identity which was created, in most cases a wrong identity, a false self, which was created by the ego in order to protect yourself from life, from the world, as a child. So now you know who you are as everything, and in this, the true self, the self of this person, of this body, is coming to reveal itself. And this is like a recognition of that, of the authentic self. And this is now capable to be alive in this wide open space. So you're starting to see yourself who you truly are, with no longer any kind of distortion or wrong perception. You truly see yourself as the truth of who you are, like the space itself and the bird which is flying in the space. And you're both. And that's fantastic, because only when you look from the space, from the truth of who you are capable to discover this being you are, this person you are in this space. And only then you can see what is true and what is not. So you need to have this white space, and from there you are discovering what this human form looks like, and how what it needs and what it doesn't like, and all the desires it carries. But it's no longer this identification, like this strong like this fight, because usually the authentic self is not, if it's not revealed, we are living in this false self, which is only a protection mechanism, which is serving, like the personality is serving as a protection mechanism to never experience the authentic self. So only when we come from this wide space, we are capable to realize and discover this very kind of fragile, delicate, soft sense of self, or soft self. And that itself is enough if it has enough space and enough love and enough support by all the awareness. So we are capable then to live our authentic life from this place of kind of nakedness, But because we know that we are more than this authentic self, we are the space around it as well, we are capable to live from this authentic self and this perspective of the authentic self. So no longer needs to be protection around that, because we are capable to smell and taste and experience life from this very naked, open heart. And we are, in this lifetime, in this human body. But the question is, do we live our life from a false self and a wrong perception and a wrong identification? Or do we live this life from the perspective which is a perspective which is changing between the authentic self, which is embodied in this body self, and the open space. So being both